Alright, welcome back everybody. That's right. That's right, thank you. Thank you. So I thought this week I'd try a little something different and, go back to the way maybe things were way back when, when I used to do voices, the voices in my head, I've ever so often they kind of take over. So I figured, why not let them out and play for a little while? Maybe it'll get them to stop yelling at me. Pretty much what it's like up there. All right. So exciting news is happening. I can't quite talk about it yet. Shh, it's a little bit of a secret. But yeah, really hoping that I've got some changes coming in my life that's really going to improve the way things are going around here, instead of all the. Yeah, that's right. All right, but enough about that, eh? You all didn't come here to listen to me talk about myself. You have all come here to. You've all come to listen to talk about some comic books. That's right. So let's go ahead and get started on that, eh? What do you say? Yeah, that's alright. It's a new sound effect. I've got a couple of them. You'll probably hear them later throughout the podcast. Alright, let's start off this week with some Young Justice, issue number 2. So, at the end of the last issue, the team got transported to Gem World, and Robin has been running around with Princess Amethyst, trying to find his friends, and basically along the way, the two of them have been kind of going after people who are, seditious, because, it's Princess Amethyst. She is Princess of Gemworld, but also at the same time, for those of you who don't know who she is also wanted by the evil current ruler of Gemworld, Lord Opal, or Opal, depending on who you're saying it from. So, there's a bounty for her head, and there's a lot of people running around trying to capture her, kill her, all those different kinds of things. So a little bit of tit for tat. That was not supposed to be. So, let's see. So we've got those two running around. So this Teen Lantern kid and Ginny Hicks have landed in some kind of forest with the truck. And Wonder Girl manages to find them, and Ginny, of course, pulls a gun on her.
What?
Cause them Hickses is real quick to the draw. Oh. It's just whatever. You really can't get you guys. So it's just like nothing's funny anymore, is it? So.
We'll laugh when you tell a joke.
You shut up. All right. So, after Ginny pulls the gun on her, the two of them kind of work out some issues during a flashback to a time when Wonder Girl took on Despero, and then Zeus came to talk to her and try to give her an amulet, try to get on her good side, try to be the good grandfather she's never had, because, that's what he does, Zeus will never do anything unless he can get something in return. Pretty much that's something Wonder Woman figured out a long time ago. But basically, Wonder Girl says, Zeus can go take a hike and he can take his pretty necklace with him. And so back in Gemworld, Wonder Girl and Teen Lantern and Ginny work together to try to find Robin, who they eventually find riding Amethyst's, winged unicorn. Yeah, so Robin on a unicorn. Well, it takes all kinds, I guess. So now that they're all back together, of course, Princess Amethyst asks for their help in defeating Lord Opal, who then presents himself to the team. Yeah, so things are gonna get real bad for this group real quick. Let me just tell you right there, partner. Let's see. How about The Walking Dead, issue number 188? So, Mercer's been put in jail after his talk of mutiny in the Commonwealth. I know, right? The guy's just trying to make a better society for his people and eliminate this kind of monarchy they have going on that's, masked as a democracy and capitalism and blah, 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 blah. So, Rick is, of course, panicking over the growing threat of civil war in the Commonwealth because, well, he shot Dwight in the head because Dwight was inciting civil war, and he killed him trying to prevent a civil war because Rick thinks the Commonwealth is kind of a good thing and it's what they need right now, and he doesn't want to fight anymore. But basically everything's just, it's going to total shite, whatever. So yeah. Back at the hilltop, Maggie has doubts about if everything's going okay with Rick and the group in the Commonwealth, and she sent Jesus last issue and a group with him to go and kind of assess the situation, kind of trying to find out what's going on. They've been gone for a long time, and Jesus' group happens to run across Princess, who had recently left the Commonwealth, and they find a herd. They manage to divert the herd to a train yard where Eugene is currently working on getting a train running, and he's pretty much unprotected. Yeah, so things aren't looking so good for Eugene right now. Of course, they didn't know that Eugene was there working on the train, so it's not like they did it on purpose, but at the same time, I find it hard to believe that at this point, that Eugene hasn't grown eyes in the back of his head. But, So, all right. So I picked up another one of these Age of X-Men books. This is a Marvelous X-Men book. And in this book, this specifically follows the main team in the Age of X-Men universe. Even in this utopian society, natural disasters can't be prevented. The X-Men move to LA to stop a forest fire. Colossus and Nature Girl try to save some of the animals. Storm and X-Men work to try and slow the fire, so that Jean, Lara, and Magneto can save some young unfinished infants still in their test tubes. That's right. In this X-Men universe, babies are grown in test tubes because relationships are forbidden, if you remember the last issue. So, Lara, picking up one of the babies, has a flash memory before Magneto is able to pull the building to safety, and the flashback of the memory is of her and her young sister, Gabby, who I assume is the infant in the pod. Could be wrong. But yeah, so later Laura tries to talk to X-Man about the memory, and all he does is wipe her mind of, all traces of the memory.
Excuse me?
That's right, because love is forbidden in this world.
Excuse me?
That's right. So, later on the next day, the X-Men enjoy some R&R, and Jean is psychically attacked, and she begins to spout propaganda about love and Sabanur, Genesis, and Kitty Pryde. So,
excuse me?
yeah, that's right. So, definitely, I'm not really 100% certain that I'm going to continue reading these stories. None of this stuff is, of course, canon in any way, shape, or form. Although it could probably very well turn out to be that way. Maybe the X-Men, I guess they're trying to play it off as being that the X-Men aren't really dead. Seeing as how in Uncanny XMen issue number 10, X-Men, quote, killed off the X-Men. But maybe they're not really dead. They're really trapped in this alternate reality of the X-Men universe. Which would make sense, which would why all these characters are there, including Sabanur, or Apocalypse, as you would call it. Basically, everybody that was at the beachhead fighting X-Men is in this universe. So I'm going to say that this, you know what, now that I say it out loud, I'm going to go ahead and say this is all canon. This is what is going on in a world without the X-Men. They're in another, they're in another timeline or another dimension, however you want to look at it, that X-Men created in order to take them off the board for what he really wants to do in the main universe. So, there you go. I figured it out. I solved it. The secret is out. Shh, don't tell anybody else. Okay? This is a secret just between you and me.
What?
I said it's a secret just between you and me.
Yahtzee!
That was the wrong button. We're not even halfway through and you're already hitting the wrong buttons. Come on now. Alright, let's talk Prodigy, issue number 3. So, Crane and Rachel are continuing to find clues that lead them all over the world. At one point, they end up in a sunken temple in the Indian Ocean, where Crane comes to wish he had brought his bat shark repellent. Oh, come on, that was come on. Last week I was talking about sharks and Batman fighting sharks, and he didn't have his bat shark repellent, and he was just, he was, come on, work with me, bat shark repellent. It's fine. Moving on. So while Crane is in the water dealing with sharks, Rachel has some problems of her own with some pirates. Of course, they both manage to, work out the situation. Rachel kills the pirates, and Crane makes the sharks wish they hadn't picked on him, So, later in Damascus, they learn that the next stop is Israel, but they're going to need $2 million for a bribe to get into Israel. So that's when Crane comes up with the idea to go hit up this poker game that he knows about to win the money. However, it looks like he might not be walking away with his winnings. So yeah, things are getting pretty hairy for our little Prodigy here. I gotta tell you, I'm enjoying the mystery of this book. I don't fully understand what is this going on, obviously. I don't think anybody really does, but I'm having a fun time reading it and trying to figure it out, and waiting to see when the big reveal is going to come up, or who's, working together, to bring in these people from another world, a parallel universe. So, things are heating up. All right, let's see. Next we've got some X-23. Okay. So Beast has managed to find a signal that's been trying to transmit into the cyborg that's they're keeping at the X-Mansion, and the signal is coming from Medextronics. Yeah. So of course that, immediately sets off all of Laura's little alarms, and she's on her way to Medextronics to try to get answers. So when Laura arrives and does manage to break into the facility, it's not too long before security is alerted and an army of robot X-weapons are released. And of course, where there's X-weapons, there are Weapon X doctors and scientists and bad thing afoot. So she dives deeper into the facility, and while she's doing that, the cyborg wakes up at the X-Mansion and makes its way to the roof, where Gabby finds it and tries to talk to it. She's starting to have a conversation with it. Apparently the cyborg doesn't speak at all. And Laura calls Gabby for backup because she's found this facility underneath this facility that is housing all of these robot assassins ready and willing to, of course, be shipped out. So, of course, Gabby and the cyborg appear to be racing to Laura's aid. Yeah, I mean, will the cyborg come to Laura's aid, or will the cyborg turn and go all Terminator? Thank you. Thank you. So, let's see. Ah, yes. All right. For the final comic book of the evening. Well, yes, the episode's going by pretty fast, isn't it? I should probably slow down my talking a bit and maybe talk a little bit slower, maybe. Of course, all that's gonna do is start making me yawn. I don't know why I'm tired. I had all this energy about an hour ago. I should have recorded then. Oops. Alright, so let's wrap this up with Deadpool issue number 9. So someone has taken Deadpool's heart, and they managed to do it. They managed to do it while he was sleeping. Yeah. So of course he goes to find Jessica Jones to help him find it. You know, of course he tries to flirt with her, and you know she punches him in the face. And they go see Daredevil first, because of course, you know, Daredevil's got this uncanny hearing ability, and you know, they hope that maybe he could, you know, hear the heart beating. But he hears, oh, here we go, and he hears nothing. So Daredevil sends them to Tombstone, who's been running like an underground illegal organ operation. And Jessica, of course, beats him senseless. And he sends them to Senor Magico. And after Jessica, of course, beats him senseless, he transports them to a place where the heart might be. Of course, though, it is a trap, and there are many magic users waiting for them in ambush. Luckily, though, Dr. Voodoo breaks up the fight and offers to help. Using his power, they find out that there's this guy somewhere who has Deadpool's heart, and he doesn't have any real powers or any evil intent. He only wants to use the heart to help heal his sick wife. Her heart is failing, and they can't get her on the transplant list, so they're not going to be able to get her heart fast enough. So he figured if he uses Deadpool's heart, it would heal her, and everything would be gravy. So, of course, Deadpool, his heart just melts. Come on, that was funny. I mean, his heart's regenerating after all, and that was funny. I mean, come on, Deadpool's heart was melting, you know, he just... Fine. You know what?
Excuse me?
Yeah, so... Deadpool says that he can keep the heart, and of course Jessica gets mad because they went through all that crap for nothing, and then of course she reaches into his chest and pulls out the brand new heart that he's been growing, and yeah, she basically tells him that either Deadpool pays her the money that she's going to owe him for all this crap, or she's going to come find him every single night and do exactly that until he pays her back. So, yeah. You don't mess with Jessica Jones. She just she'll rip your heart out. She'll rip your heart out. She'll rip your heart out. Dude, come on. Just once can I not crack a joke without you guys getting all upset about it? It was just a joke. Give me the rim shot. Thank you. All right. So after she leaves, Deadpool decides that he's going to go back and, you know, he's got to regrow another heart. Later we learn out that the man was actually lying, and the heart was meant for somebody else who has an evil plan. And Deadpool's former co-worker, Weasel. Is it co-worker? I don't know, but he's dead. Yeah, if you remember me reading early Deadpool books, I want to say Weasel was from not the initial run of Scotty Young's Deadpool. It was Deadpool Merc, Merc with the mouth. It was the run previous. It was a short run where Deadpool had a person who was fronting all of the mercenary jobs to him. So, but he died. So, but it looks like that the person behind him, I don't really like. It could be Morbius, the living vampire, but it also could be Faustus. I don't know, but he is evil, whoever he is. So that is it for this week's episode, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to head over to walkofthegeek.com/giveaways, where you will find this month's giveaway of Hellboy Omnibus, Volume 1, and you can sign up for that. Totally free. It doesn't cost you a thing. I have one copy to give away, and the lucky person will get drawn at the end of this month, so on the 28th, and that will get mailed out to you. Maybe it'll be you. Maybe it'll be maybe it'll be your next door neighbor. Maybe it'll be somebody you've never even met. It might even be your boss at work. Who knows? But if you don't go over and sign up, it definitely will not be you. That is it for this week's episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next week.